Yes, indeedy goody. Hey, everybody, welcome to Midwest Fair Talk Radio. I'm the G Man. That is Deb. Welcome to another Thursday night edition of Midwest Fair Talk Radio. And we are live on Twitch. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook Live. Um,
And I have rabies.
Deb has rabies.
No, I don't.
Yes, you
But I
do.
have a really awesome T-shirt that says I have rabies. That ought to take care of all the people I don't like. So keep them away from me. If you want one, talk to Greg.
Hit me up. Gcable at MidwestFairTalkRadio.com.
Woo.
Just making sure all the lives are going the way they should be. And man, oh man.
I'm a hot mess tonight, guys. My arm
Hi.
is on fire. And I just came off of a pain pill buzz. So I've got a little window of opportunity here between the next pain pill.
Big one.
And the fact that I can't, I wouldn't be able to sit here. I'm telling you what, this neck surgery that I had in August, hot damn. I've had a lot of surgeries in my 66 years, but I must say this has been the roughest one to recuperate from. Yeah. Jesus, God almighty. Ugh. Which I just had a birthday, February 17th, turned 66. I am old as I'm old.
You're old as what?
Yeah, AF. Oops, dropped something.
What'd you do that for?
I don't know.
I think we're live on NPR's Facebook page. Fuck, I don't know. It is what it is. We're live on YouTube and live on my Facebook page. I'll figure it out somehow. Got a little white electrical thing going through my head. Wait.
It's your aura. That's bizarre. I don't have no fancy background. I just got my office, my girl space that nobody's allowed in.
Oops.
It's
got a ghost. It's a ghost talk. He's got a little microphone.
Oh, I see. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. It's AI.
Yeah. Hey.
So, we were going to talk a little bit. Your MIDAR went off again.
Again today, yes, I have a MADAR unit, MADAR. Google it if you want to find out about it. It's supposed to detect minute changes in the electromagnetic field around the unit. AE my house.
It does that, and I know I probably asked you before. I mean, what exactly is it trying to detect? Like, is it supposedly detecting alien presence, crafts, or is it monitoring geometric phenomenon? I kind of like, what is the dirt grind on that?
Well, I can tell you.
I'm not gonna Google it because we're doing a show right now, but
I'm pulling it up right now. The sensors look at data background levels at 15 times per second, but it records data on a spreadsheet every 60 seconds. So I can go to the data log online and look at my unit, which is 255, and it'll show all of the data that it's collecting, and it let me see. It collects. I know it's electromagnetic field. Ow. It's actually I'm getting old. Anyway, it's supposed to detect like UFOs, UFO detector. I think maybe it even can detect anything that affects the electromagnetic field, which we know as paranormal investigators can be a lot of stuff, not just UFOs.
Right.
And there are over 170 nodes located worldwide, one of them right here in Kokomo, Indiana. And I think that they let me put one in my house so they could use me as bait. I mean, because,
not a bad idea, honestly.
I'm the intruders girl, you know. I mean, that's
Right.
somebody wrote a book about all of it. It says it has it recording system for anomalies in the geomagnetic field and background radiation, and added in 2014 2016 they added a fluxgate magnetometer for anomalies in the local EM field, a mode control panel, 2 computers, 4 surveillance cameras, 5 monitors. They got all kinds of stuff. This is at their lab where all of the data, my unit, my little unit here, it's I don't know, size of a cell phone, maybe, only fat.
Okay.
Plugs into my Ethernet. I mean, you could do wireless, but I do the Ethernet because it's more stable. And because I have Ethernet run throughout my whole house. My husband did it when we built the house, so that's
Right.
handy. But anyway, so it collects up all this data and it sends it through the Ethernet, through the internet, to the data collection site, and then it's all put in a big, data file and database. Yeah. So anyway, it looks at several different things, but it's not unlike some of the tools that we use for ghost hunting. So that's why I wonder. Mine goes off a lot now. I mean, I had it like a year and a half, and it didn't do squat. Sure. And I thought, well, I feel kind of bad for them. They sent it up here, and it ain't. I can't. It's not nothing happening. And then all of a sudden, after the drone shit started, back in December or whenever, right. It's like started lighting up around here, and this thing was going off all the time. It just went off again today when I was on the phone with my BFF, and I'm like, she goes, "Oh my God, what is that noise?" And I said, "That's the MADAR detector." And she goes, "Does that mean, what does that mean?" And I said, "That means a UFO is close by, maybe, or something. Right. Something anomalous is in the vicinity that's messing with it." It's funny because like one time I was sitting here talking to somebody on a computer and it went off. And it's like it was responding to something I said, and then it went off. It's like, what in the hell? Really? And there's been a lot of strange things going on here lately. I don't know what's happening. I told you a little while ago, my beloved Sheldon, everyone who knows me knows that I absolutely adored my Yorkie Sheldon. And he passed away in November, and I was devastated because I knew he wasn't going to last as long as a typical Yorkie. He had a lot of health issues, but you can never say goodbye. Anyway, right. His birthday was the 26th, and it was on my mind because, that's the way I am. I love my pets. I love my fur babies more than I love people. So, but anyway, I was running the sweeper in my bedroom, and Sheldon always hated the sweeper. He hated it. And he would always run and hide under my bed when I was running the sweeper. And by God, and this was not a shadow. It wasn't out of the corner of my eye. I wasn't asleep. I was running the damn sweeper. And whew, here he came through the doorway in front of me and the sweeper and under the bed. And I went, "Oh, it's okay, Shelly." And then I'm like, "Hold on. Shelly's dead." And I'm like, "Oh, Shelly." And then I started crying. I'm like, "Oh, you came back to see mommy." I went, right, yeah. But it's like, and I told my girlfriend, I called her up. I'm like, and I'm whispering to her. I don't even know why. "I saw Sheldon." She's like, "Oh, today's his birthday, isn't it?" And I go, "Yeah." So, I'm telling you, animals, I don't know how anybody can think animals don't have souls. Right. And you know what I mean? They're different than us, but I'm telling you, I have so many pets, loves of my life that are over on the other side now that I swear to God, when I get over there, it's going to be like a freaking dog pound of dogs waiting. Hopefully, I'm planting on it. So But I've seen a few people that have reported pet ghosts or spirits, you know what I mean? Or animal ghosts or spirits, but not as much as I think is really out there. I don't think people report it as much.
No, they're not. I mean, it falls. It's the same old song and dance. It's like, you saw what? Come on, get the hell out of here. You're being,
You're grieving. You're grieving.
right. And I know. I mean, I've heard my greyhound. I mean, Delilah, Sammy Boy. I've not heard or had any indication that he's visited. But Dilly and Tricky, I've heard him more than once. I haven't seen him except for in dreams.
Am I hearing music?
Yes.
Because I'm like, am I delusional?
Yes.
Is that new? I like it.
It is just one of the functions on Restream. You can have music playing in the background. So I put a little music on behind us.
Well, that's special.
It's ambient.
Ambience. Oh, nice.
This is epic.
Did you say epic?
But it has a whole butt ton of music you can play back behind your streams. Ah, there we go.
Better watch my neck. I'll end up back in the emergency room.
Yeah, don't be switching that neck back and forth.
Good God.
But yeah, I mean, I 100%. Anyone that says that animals don't have souls, they're retarded. They don't know any better.
Do you so have you guys have you guys had any new cases lately?
We've got a couple maybes in the works. I know Billy's working on some stuff right now. But I mean, it's winter time. You know how it is in the winter.
Yep.
Ghost investigating kind of screeches to a halt in mid to late October, and then pick up again until it starts, being consistently over 50 at night. I guess that doesn't say too much about us ghost hunters that we're big sissies and can't be out in the cold, but what can you do?
I mean, Gonzalez, how do you say his last name? He didn't like spiders.
Gonzalez, or
and he wouldn't fly either, which I don't blame him. But I remember when they went over to England to do something, or
they're going to Ireland.
Yeah, that would be cool.
He tried to get on the plane. He got on there, got sit down. He was like, "Nope, can't do it. Get me the hell out of here."
Yeah, I would love to go to Ireland and do some castles there.
I would too. I would just like to be out on the moor. The ley lines and the reports of fairies and gnomes and what they have out there, or over there, I should say. I mean, that's kind of where it is. I mean, the UK, England, and Ireland, Scotland.
And you know what? All those reports of fairies and gnomes and sprites and leprechauns, all that stuff that goes back centuries. There's always, in my opinion, there's always a grain of truth to those. They may be misinterpreting things that they're seeing based on their environmental, and sociological situation where they're at the time.
Yeah.
But I think when you strip away all of that, you see the bare bones of the experience. It's the same shit that people report when they report abductions.
Yeah.
And the different kinds of aliens that people report,
Well, yeah. I mean, I've seen video, and I can't, I had a conversation with the team just this week, actually. There was a video going around, and this will all tie together, so just kind of stay in the boat with me. Keep your hands and feet inside of the car until it comes to a complete stop. But there is a video of a Elmo clown running around on TikTok and on YouTube Shorts, and this balloon supposedly follows the kid around.
Oh, I saw that, and it was
Yeah.
creepy as hell.
Right, and it goes up went up the stairs by itself.
Yes.
Right, and we got to having a little conversation about that in the group chat for the team. And my argument is, and I was telling Billy this too, which is, the more I do this, the more I find that most people are full of cowpucky. Their claims of activity is nothing more than them manifesting shit in their mind and making it up to themselves for them to believe, or they're just lying altogether to get somebody out to their house so they can say, I had a team come out to my house and do an investigation. It's probably the 5% of the stories that are actually true, that actually have things that are going on that we can document as paranormal activity. But someone had said in the team that they were thinking that it was just all BS, that I didn't think that was, and I was like, I kind of agree that it might be bull, but something that I think that paranormal investigators of this age, because let's face it, right now we're old school, we're OGs, original ghost hunters. We
Totally.
started doing it,
40 years ago.
When they were on, before they were even on TV, we were doing investigations as well.
Yep.
So, we
were doing it before it was cool.
Right.
We were just looked at as a bunch of nuts.
Right. So, being as that is, and my comment was, look, we can look at it, we can speculate about activity, and we can even talking to a potential client and saying, okay, I got your story, but for me to tell you that you've got a problem, or any paranormal group worth their grain of salt, they need to be hands-on. They need to see what's going on. They need to do that investigation. They need to figure out, okay, we didn't get anything. I've had someone want a demon so bad that when we told her it wasn't, she got up and walked away from us. You know what I mean? But I think it's easy for investigators of this era to lose sight of their due diligence when they're dealing with going to do an investigation or getting facts and proclaimed facts from the potential client about what's going on in their place. Everyone's quick to jump to the conclusion. And I blame a certain paranormal TV group and the guy
I know who that would be.
I'm not trying to get in trouble anymore, but you know who I mean. It seems like after that, it was just, it went all downhill because everything was evil, dark, and nasty. And then you got them yahoos that went to a specific place and basically disrespected the entire place while they were there on camera. But man, do the due diligence. Go out and give a full-on investigation and figure out what's going on. Like I said, the 5% for me is the claims of activity that I'm finding to be more legitimate than 95% of what's being told to me because you think you have something. Well,
I see that in ufology as well. I've been around for 40 years, in both of these fields. More ufology than paranormal, but still. And I've seen a massive change in that 40 years. And I've seen a change in the people who report the stuff. Yeah. I find, and I go into it the same way for both paranormal and UFO investigations as I did 40 years ago. You go in with the mindset that you're going to find the prosaic explanation. That's why you're doing it. to figure it out. When you can't, after you've eliminated everything else, you might be left with 1 or 2% of the cases that you can't, don't have an explanation for. And, 1 or 2% of the cases back then was less than what you have now, but it's still, to me, about the same. And I see a lot more because of because of social media now. There's so much social media we didn't have 40 years ago, like, TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook and Twitter and whatever else you're on there. People are on there sharing. They want hits. They want to be Insta famous. They want their 15 minutes of fame. They are more than happy to make some shit up if they think they can get 1 million hits from it, and then they try to monetize it. If they get one, they get hungry. And so then they try another one and they want to get a bunch of followers and get I didn't have to deal with all that shit 30 years ago. I just had cases. The people were, and it wasn't like we were that easy to find. People had to work to find us and we had to work to find them. You know what I mean? So now the investigator is bombarded with a lot of bullshit that didn't need to be bothered with because somebody else just wanted to have some fun or wanted to be Insta famous or wanted a bunch of clicks or whatever.
Right.
And like when you and I first started the podcast 15 years ago, I mean, there were like 8 podcasts in the whole fucking world. The whole world. There was maybe a handful of paranormal podcasts, and it was always just, it wasn't even video, it was just audio,
Yep.
But the content was richer, I thought, and I still do it. I find myself being getting a little jaded. I think I get a little, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm old. I have very little patience for fuckery anymore. I mean, it actually impedes what I want to do, what I'm trying to do, which is gather solid evidence for the things that I'm researching, EVPs. I'm trying to get evidence that electronic voice phenomenon is a real thing, that there's some kind of non-human intelligence that we're communicating with. I don't know if they're spirits. I don't know if it's another dimension. Somehow the UFO thing seems connected to the paranormal thing. I'm just trying to do all this stuff. And when I got some dude making a fake video on TikTok so that he can get 1,000, or 1 million views,
right?
So it's like, go get a real job somewhere. If you have these skills, go work for Hollywood and in the movies, whatever. Also, there's a lot of software that's available now. Hell, there's even apps that you can make your own ghost videos with. I mean,
right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That shit's a pain in the ass for investigators, So you have to learn all that stuff and you have to learn to recognize it, and I've learned a lot more about photography and AI here in the last couple of years than I ever really wanted to know.
Right.
And I learned that AI really does a shitty job with hands and feet. There's ways to tell. And if you look, I've gotten to the point now where if I look at a photograph, even if I'm not consciously aware of it, I've educated myself enough in that something in my subconscious is telling me this isn't real. You need to look further into it. And I'm not wrong. But you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's ways to tell, but a lot of people get easily taken by it. And it's not just paranormal stuff. It's all the political stuff now. It's all the, it's all kinds of different things that people are using AI in. And it's not fair. It's wrong. It's deceitful. It's you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And, but I'm learning how to find all that and pick all that stuff out. There are a bunch. I noticed a bunch of TikTok videos in December and November and December, January, UFO TikTok or whatever, and people were sending all of these UFO pictures in they thought were UFOs and videos they thought were UFOs. And I'm telling you, I quit commenting on them as an investigator because I knew, like, that's Starlink. I know what Starlink is. I have videos of Starlink on my computer. I have gotten the app. I've gone online. I've learned how to find out where it's going to be and how to see it. And I've videotaped it. And that's Starlink. And then when you tell someone that, they get shitty at you. And then you get jumped by 8 million freaking trolls. And it's like, okay, I'm done. You don't want the truth. You want to be fun and famous. And I mean, I am a believer. I know ghosts, quote unquote, or spirit is real. I know there other life surrounds us. I know there's extraterrestrial life. I know there's extra dimensional life. I am a believer.
Yeah.
But you can't just take everything. Being a skeptic is good. Skepticism is healthy. Debunking and skepticism are two different things.
Right.
And like I said, my goal when I took a case as an investigator for MUFON, when I took a case as a paranormal investigator, my goal was to find the prosaic explanation. And 98% of the time, I could do that.
Right.
That doesn't mean that the people I was helping or working with wanted that. And I can't do anything about that. But, I can close my case because I know what this is. You take my word, take my research and my evidence for it or not. It's on you. But
that's one of the things that I'm thankful for with BIPs, because if something freaky happens, Felicia, Billy, and I will have a conversation about it. Can it be recreated? What was going on at the time? Can we do this? Can we do that? Let's try to figure it out before we say, okay, yeah, that's
just like that video that we caught at the roads.
Yeah.
The first thing when we saw it, they're like, okay, let's try this and let's see if we can recreate this and do this,
Right.
That's how you're supposed to do it. That's how it's supposed to be done. And,
exactly.
Even if one case is the real deal, that's earth shattering.
Right.
All it takes is one.
Yeah.
All it takes is one set of numbers to hit the lottery,
And that's
might as well be mine.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That was kind of a wow moment when we saw that. I mean, everybody was accounted for. Everybody, was out of that particular area. The only thing that's close to where we saw that was base station, and it was probably another 6 or 8 foot away from that, if not more. We tried to recreate it, couldn't have it. It wasn't happening. Nothing we could do to reproduce at all. So, I mean, I felt pretty positive. And Billy, and what not you and I talked about it, you're like, he needs to send this over to the
Paranormal Caught on Camera.
Yeah, Paranormal Caught on Camera. Yeah. So he submitted it. They accepted it. So I guess they're going to get back to him with if they're going to use it or not, or however they do that. I'm not sure. I'm not in the TV stuff.
I submitted a video that I captured a few years back, but I never heard from them. So the fact that you heard back, they heard back from him, right?
I think just to acknowledge that they got it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even get that. So.
And you should send, I know you still have it, the clip from we had at the Shockley event. Yeah. You should send that to them as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still have it.
Yeah, I send that to them and see what we can get out of that, because I think that'd be interesting to see what they thought, because it was plain as day to me. So
I thought
that was pretty interesting.
The video is older though, and it's kind of grainy, Boy, I've got some old stuff. I've got some old video and some old audio from, 10 to 15 years ago. And it's
Yeah.
like, God, this is a shitty quality.
Well, I mean,
It is
I
all the
do
best.
some pretty crappy video on those shows too.
I know, that's right. I have. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I've seen changes in ghost hunting and ufology over the years. Some of it I'm not a fan of.
Right.
But and I've noticed here, I don't know, but since December, I guess November, December, when all that drone stuff happened, and then all of a sudden it's gone.
Yeah.
It all went away when TikTok went away.
Yep.
And then TikTok came back and
it was nothing.
No, nothing. No
Nothing
more
at
drone.
all.
What? It almost made me suspicious. I mean, I try not to be paranoid. I try not to go down that conspiracy theory rabbit hole. I mean, nothing would surprise me, but I'm not going to dwell on it. I need more information, but it almost feels like somebody intentionally like threw a monkey wrench in that.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just bizarre. And I haven't really heard or seen a whole lot since then, online anyway.
I haven't seen squat about it anywhere, and I am an avid YouTube watcher.
Me too. I watch YouTube and I flip through TikToks and I'm not seeing nothing. No, I'm not seeing hardly anything.
So you mean to tell me that after the whole TikTok ordeal went down and came back, that now that all of a sudden there are no drones anywhere, and people were reporting and showing video of drones all across the United States?
Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, that's what they were. They were drones.
Yeah.
And, some of them were probably like military, big, giant drones, not the kind you could go buy at, Fish or whatever that big store is.
You mean Fry's?
Fry's, yeah.
They're not there anymore. It's Micro Center.
Micro Center, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't see Radio Shack used to be my favorite store.
I love me some Radio Shack.
Yeah, but that's Radio Shack is all gone now.
We are so OG. We're like Run DMC. No. We're Sugar Hill Gang OG. Okay.
I'm Salt and Pepper.
No, you're up there with Sugar Hill Gang with me.
Shut up.
You're the hip hop, the hippity, the hip hop. You don't stop. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to get copyrighted for that.
You're going to get twinged now. Way to go, Greg. Oh, well, I don't care. I said the F word, so we're all screwed.
Damn it, Deb.
Damn it, Janet. Do you remember that? I swear to God, I love Tim Curry.
Right.
I love him with all of my heart.
Oh, I showed you the It thing and you hated it.
No, I hate that.
That was Tim Curry?
I don't. That was not Tim Curry. I know it was Tim Curry, but
that is Tim Curry. Right
that
there.
Is gross. Stop it.
Get you some of that.
Nope. Get that off the screen. That is disgusting. Stop messing with me. I don't like it. That is gross. Ugh.
I can't wait for Welcome to Derry.
Who?
Welcome to Derry is coming out on Netflix, I think, if not mid-year, early next year, so either 25 or 26. It's the backstory of Pennywise. So it's before the events of the original It, Stephen King, because the remakes are okay, but they're not Stephen King. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They did a good job on him, and they gave you the scare factor, which was cool. But this is going to be the background story of Pennywise the Clown from origins, and I think that's going to be really cool. But I mean, that's really the only horror flicks or anything close that I even watch anymore, because nothing is as good as it was back in the late 70s, early 80s.
And I don't watch horror flicks, and I never did.
Really?
And I never let my kids watch it. No, I know. And I talked about this on another podcast the other day. And the reason is, and I think I was doing this before I was even aware of why I was doing it, but it was in my subconscious. It's like I was taught this somewhere that I believe, and I believe now humans are powerful beings that, and our minds are capable of so much. And I believe in manifestation. I believe that because I believe everything that you see in your room, look around you, everything that you see in this material world started with a thought. It began in somebody's mind. Everything. Okay. Right. I'm just saying. Now, when you start putting those kinds of images in your mind, it goes into your subconscious. And while you may not be aware of it in there, it's there. And I didn't want my kids to have those images and thoughts and ideas like that in their mind, because I didn't want it to come back and haunt them later, or come back and manifest in their lives somewhere later down the road, on a subconscious level. And because I believe that our thoughts are powerful. And I cannot help believe, we all know the world is like a dumpster fire right now. And, it's easy to doom scroll this and that. And I try to keep myself educated and informed about what's going on around me. I try to also temper that, because I feel like it's like a vicious circle. And when you get sucked into that, you can begin to manifest that. And when you got 50 million people being sucked into the same narrative, that's a powerful manifester of reality. You know what I'm saying? That's a power plant right there of all those people with the same emotional charges. And I feel like, I'll be sitting here watching TV, and I'll be scrolling through the channels, and I see, the 10 ways the apocalypse could happen. I'm like, why in the fuck do you put shit like that on TV for a million people to watch? Excuse me. Why do you put stuff like that on TV for a million people to watch, so they can all freak out and have the same images in their minds and in their emotional being at the same time? Because that's like throwing gasoline on a fire. That's a manifesting nightmare,
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, that's just how I visioned. That's how I view things. That's how I see things now. And I feel like I was doing that even back then when my kids were little, and with myself. And I realizing subconsciously that I didn't want those images in my mind, because there's things on TV that are just absolutely horrible. And I've always said, if you can think it, it exists somewhere.
Yeah.
And when you see the hideousness of things that, in some of these horror movies and slasher movies, you know what I mean? I feel like if I looked at that and I allowed that in my energy, it would manifest somewhere else. Maybe not this timeline, or maybe not right now, but in the future somewhere. I mean, I don't know. It's just, that's how I've always felt about it. And it's always been really hard for me to describe that to people or explain it to them. But that's how I've always felt. Now, after my kids were teenagers and they spent the night with their friends, God only knows what they did. Yep. My 45-year-old son told me the other day, he's like, Mom, we used to walk to Dairy Queen and cross Washington Street. And I'm like, what?
Right.
He goes, yeah, you would have beat my ass if you done. I'm like, I might just do
it now.
You're 45, but I'm still your mother. And, and he started laughing. He goes, you wouldn't believe half the shit I did. I said, I don't want to know. Don't even tell me. You're still alive. Somehow you managed to make it to adulthood. That's all I need to know. I don't want to know anything else you did.
Right.
Don't do that to me.
Don't tell your secrets out now. Nobody wants to know that shit. No one wants to know you snuck out of the house and did whatever with whomever.
Nope, don't want to know.
See, I kind of see where you're going, because I don't watch deep down religious horror movies.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, like The Exorcist. I've seen it. I'll never watch it again. The ones that really got me though were The Omen. It's like I started to watch that. I got a little bit of the ways through it. And I'm like, yep,
Nope.
nope.
We're not going there.
That is drawing the line in the sand between good and evil. And then later in life, after got up in age a little bit, and you start hearing backstories about what happened to the cast or what happened on set, that was just a little sus. It's like, yeah, that's leave those types of movies alone, man. I mean, Linda Blair had problems on The Exorcist set. Some of the other actors had problems on set. I think The Omen was, from what I understood, pretty terrible as well. And even Carrie, John Carpenter's Carrie from the 70s, they had problems on set with that too. When you start getting into the religious good and bad, you start looking at, like I said, you draw that proverbial line between good and evil, and you're daring stuff to happen. Now, with slasher films and stuff like that, it is what it is. They don't really even bother me. The only one that really honestly ever bothered me was Halloween, the first time that I ever saw it. I mean, I looked over my shoulder walking up the street more than once after watching that show. It freaked me out that bad. So, but like for Nostradamus, Netflix every year puts out he predicted the end of the world, and here's how it's going to happen.
No,
really? Come on. So I don't know.
And I know all that shit's bullshit anyway. But my point with that, is if you plant those seeds into people's minds and subconscious, their energy, their manifesting energy is going to have that seed in there, even if they're not fully aware of it consciously, and it's going to work. I think your mind works. Your subconscious is always on.
Because then you would have to have the argument about video games, and kids playing video games are more violent than kids that don't play video games, and I don't think that's right either. But
I don't know. I think everything in the world can affect your subconscious and your energy. I get people say, it's a struggle for me because I'm human, and I get frustrated and I get angry, and then I put that out into the universe, and all that does is feed all the negative shit that's already there. And I need to be mindful of my thought, and I need to be mindful of my thoughts and make sure that I don't, I try to keep positive. It's hard because I'm a human and I'm angry. I get angry and frustrated, but I know it's important that I need to be putting positive things out into the universe. So, I try to buffer myself, but it's just really hard. I mean, and the life life distracts people. Daily life is so distracting that we forget who we are and what we're capable of,
Yeah, I don't know. The mind is a powerful tool. It is. But I mean, I've played video games for a long time. I'm old. I've watched, horror flicks, but I've never had any.
But you're stronger than that. I mean, you're a stronger kind of person. Your soul is different. Your energy is different and stronger. That doesn't, that just means you're not susceptible as somebody else because, hey, you're my friend. So, because I think everybody is at different levels of being, some are newer than others, or some have other things they need to go through first. But You know, you're an old soul like me. That's why we click. We've probably been hanging out together for centuries.
right? Your circle now is no different than what your circle was years ago. It's just the dynamic changed.
Hmm. I was going to
I
tell
can
you,
admit,
if you want to watch a funny show, I loved Resident Alien, and I believe it just got nerd.
you,
It's going to come
yeah,
back. That's
the new season's coming out soon.
I love. I follow that Alan Tudyk, or however you say his
Yeah,
last name. I follow that on. I follow him on Blue Sky and Facebook. He's funny.
yeah.
I like him a lot.
He, him and Nathan Fillion are really good friends, like super bros. They did Firefly together back in the late '90s, early 2000s, and then yeah. But he come to find out, Alan was Nathan Fillion's barista back in the day before either one of them really broke big. They had talked about it. I was watching Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, and he was saying that Nathan Fillion was saying, "Yeah, I mean, we didn't even know it until we started talking." He's like, "We put two and two together, but they like years and years." But, the show is great. It really is, and I'm glad they got it renewed. Um, but he is a funny dude. He's out there.
And I think that UFOs investigating the unknown that I was on this year,
Yeah,
I think it's done really well. I think I've been looking at the reviews and stuff of it, and people really liked it. And
that's awesome.
I'm very happy that
Yeah,
I'm very happy. I can't say this often, but I'm very glad I did that. I'm very grateful to have been a part of it. You know, I think it was excellent, and
it was well put
it's
together for sure.
it really was, and it's still running. I mean, now all 6 seasons are now on National Geographic Channel. You know, they ran it 1 week at a time for the first 6 weeks. You know, of their new
Right.
season. You could stream the whole thing on Disney Plus or Hulu if you had it, but not everybody has streaming services. You know, that's extra expense and stuff. So, but now all 6 episodes are airing on um,
That
National
Jim.
Geographic, and so that also means I think that it'll won't be long, if not already, you can get it downloaded or watch it on YouTube, because you can watch all the season 1 on YouTube.
Yeah.
So all these season 2 will be, and I'm hoping for them that they get a season 3, because I think that I feel like season 3 is going to be more experiencer related, and you know, bring experiences into it more. I haven't really heard a lot about the latest going on in Congress, but I was
Oh,
kind of
that went away too.
yeah, no, well, and I'm disheartened because they seem to have lumped UFOs or UAPs in with other conspiracy theory things like JFK and all that other crap. So to
Right.
me, that tells me they're getting drop kicked, you know,
Mhm.
out the door. Uh,
Yeah.
which I'm not happy about that, but it is what it is, and I can't change it. All I can do is keep speaking out, which is what I'm doing. But yeah, that's kind. Everything's kind of slowed down to a. It's
Well,
weird. It's just
yeah.
weird. I just got a weird feeling about all kinds of stuff right now. You know, it's just something
Yeah,
is
I think
off.
with the transition that's happened in DC, that hopefully things will pick back up. But you're right, everything came to a screeching halt. I mean, even like we were talking earlier, the drone activity.
Hmm.
You can't tell me that there's still not sightings and whatnot out there. Are they not? Are they? Are people being hushed when they post their videos, or is
Well, I've heard people say that they
TikTok
post
is
things and then it goes
not?
away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. is that what's happening, or I don't know.
I don't either. It's
It's
weird.
questionable. It's suspect for sure because, like I said, they're still out there for sure. And you had mentioned, it's funny, you mentioned Starlink earlier. You could stand outside and watch the satellites move across the sky,
Hmm.
and they're in line. It's funny that people don't know that 100% yet. But I mean,
Yeah, and there's free apps that you can download, either Apple or Android phones. There's apps, Star Walk, and all those, and there's other apps that will tell you can download. They're all free, and they'll tell
yeah,
you when the ISS is going to be coming overhead. And I've got so many videos of the ISS that came over my house because I got notified. You can set up notifications, and it'll tell you, hey, Starlink is going to be over your house in 5 minutes. Look to the southwest, at 45 degrees or whatever. And I've got videos of Starlink. I've got videos of ISS. I've seen other satellites. You can tell. And if you go on these apps, you see something moving strangely, and you go in these apps and you can find out if it's a satellite. 99% of the time it is. It's just another smaller communication satellite or whatever. But you can still see them sometimes, depending on where they're at and where the sun is. Below the line there, the
and if you're out in the sticks like where I'm at,
yeah, and it's super dark. But what you got to look for when you're sky watching and you're looking for anomalies, you got to look for stuff that moves in one direction and then stops, and then does a right angle turn in the opposite direction, because satellites never do that, and we don't have anything that does that either. So
right.
and I cannot. Over the last 45 years of sky watching, I can't tell you. I have probably seen hundreds of those very same things. I mean, I
Yeah,
lay out in my lawn chair in the back 40 at the farm with my blankie and just fall asleep looking at the stars and
right.
see. I've seen iridium flares. Oh my God, those are spectacular. I've seen
Yeah,
incoming debris, space junk that comes back down, and it's spectacular. I've seen bolides, which are very rare and very amazing, big green balls of light, the bolides. I've
yeah,
seen meteors. I've seen all kinds of shit in the sky in the last 40 years. But if you stop and look up, you will see
right.
UFOs, basically.
Yep,
You will see
yep,
them. They are there and they are not hiding. People just don't look.
right. Yeah, that's what it is. You have to actually, you stop and smell the roses.
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
wants to do that. Which, okay,
And
whatever.
it blows my mind now. The young kids are like, aliens. Oh yeah, cool. They don't
Yeah.
care.
No, not at all.
They don't care. They don't
No,
care. Back in my day, when you said that, people either, jumped out of windows or,
right.
freaked out or whatever. Now it's like,
Okay.
oh, cool, aliens, right on, cool. Which I'm kind of glad. I mean, but yeah, I mean, it might not be cool. We don't know what some of these folks are, or
Yeah.
what they want, or if we could even fathom in our minds. I mean, we have human brains, but we can't figure out something that's not human. We're gonna
Right.
put a human. We're gonna put a human. We're gonna anthropomorphize. I guess the word. I never can say that word right. We're gonna put a human shadow on it and think we understand it when we may not have. We not even be close.
Right. Well, the thing that gets me is the bugs and the reptilian chatter, and
The
it's
bug.
weird.
What do you mean? At night?
Yeah, I've seen what looked to be a 7-foot tall praying mantis type something walking across the street in the middle of the night in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't been at the bar. I'd been working, and I'm coming home, and I mean, to the point where I hit the brakes, had a little tire squeal, reversed. It was going down the embankment. There was like a little creek bed it went through the road and down throughout the neighborhood. By the time it was 3 seconds, if not less than that, I had hit the brakes, threw it in reverse, and backed up to where I saw it. Nothing. There's nothing there. It was tall, brown, had the head of a praying mantis. The legs were articulated backwards.
Sounds so much.
Long,
I mean,
long,
much
slinky
like that.
arms. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it was just gone. Well, on that same paper route, the wife and daughter were with me that night in the car, and that's when we saw the big triangle, the light in the north, the light in the west, and the light in the east. That was probably the biggest thing that I've ever seen. But what was weird for me is that it was rotating. So it would rotate, this way, and the lights on either side would move up and down, and it'd go back like this. Never once did the front point move. Okay, so it's rotating like this, and I'm like, you guys see that? And we're sitting on the side of the road in the country looking at it while it's doing this, and this is probably pre-dawn, maybe 4:30 in the summertime in the morning, so the sun's about to come up. We had to go to the Walmart and get cat food or whatever food, and it was still there. When we came out, it was gone. And we got to the house, and I was still smoking then, and I was hanging out of the basement window, and across the sky were 7 or 8 black helicopters coming out of the west. You couldn't hear them. By God, there they were. And I'm like, I bet that's where they're going. I never heard anything about it, nothing on the news, nothing out of the ordinary. But I saw it. It was odd. It was weird.
I've seen something almost exactly like that, and it was back in the 80s. And I was getting ready. I'd pulled into the parking lot of Country Squire Apartments or something like that in Indy on the Far East Side. Going to go to my girlfriend's apartment to go fishing at the lake behind their apartment. We use Snoopy fishing poles and cat and sweet corn, but it would always be a fun night. Anyway, I parked my car and I was walking through the parking lot, and I saw this above me. It was like a diamond or triangle shape, but it was rotating. So it was like 3D, and it was rotating really slow, and it had like little lights on the end of it. And I remember standing there underneath of it, and it was silent and went right overhead. And I remember looking up and thinking, what the hell is that? And just standing there and staring at it, watch it clear the building. And I went in, and I'm like, girl, come here. Let's go out here and look. And we ran out the back door, the patio door, where the lake was right there where this thing would be. And there was nothing there. And I'm like, what did I just see? It was, and it just, boom, it was gone like that.
Right.
There's just been so many weird things that I've seen over my life that in little quick moments like that, It's funny that you should talk about you talk about seeing that mantis tonight.
Shut up.
No, listen now. I don't know what this was. I was pulling out of the, I live on a cul-de-sac, so I was pulling out onto the road, fixing to go to Walgreens and get some AB aspirins, right? So, and it was still daylight out, and I see there's no sidewalks on the Goya Road, which there should be because a lot of people walk on it, but there isn't. I see, as I pull out and I'm headed north, I see this kid walking in people's yard and he's carrying a sack of some kind. But the weird thing about this kid is he was really tall, he was really skinny, he was dressed in black from head to toe, and he had a hood on, like a hoodie hood. But his face, and I went by so quick and I couldn't slam on my brakes because I would have been rear-ended up the wazoo.
Right.
But so it was really quick. But dude, this kid was not human. Okay. He was not human. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it again.
Right.
His face, okay, he had the hoodie was kind of pulled, you know what I mean? A little bit closer to his face, like the strings, how you do.
Right. Yeah.
But his face kind of came out all conical almost. I mean, his eyes were really close set and dark, but it's like he was pale, but like he had beige stripes or gills or something on his face. I know. And I'm like, what the, and I'm like, I want to slam on my brakes and I realize there's cars behind me. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm watching this kid in my rearview mirror as I'm driving, and he walks weird. His legs are like lanky or something. You know what I mean? He's got a strange stride.
Right.
And I got farther down the road, and the road kind of takes an arch or something, and I couldn't see down, and then of course 10 minutes later when I came back, he was nowhere to be seen. I swear to God, I saw his face and he was not human. And I do not know, and that's the kind of stuff that happens to me every now and then. I see them and it's like nobody else sees them.
Right. Yeah. It reminds me of that movie with Roddy Piper back in the 90s where they put the glasses on and they could see the aliens.
Oh, I remember that movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought, man, I wish that was a real thing so you could see.
Oh, right. Them or I can't remember. I think that was the name of them. I don't remember. If you guys know, comment down in the comment section. Let us know that. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Why do you think that Kokomo has so many sightings and so many anomalies?
Well, we're only 18 miles south of Grissom Air Force Base, for one thing. There are all kinds of rumors that have gone around these parts for as long as I've been here. I've lived here over 30 years. I'm from Indy. Originally, I moved up here from Indianapolis. But for as long as I've been here, there's all kinds of rumors about what really happens at Grissom underneath. There's bunkers and all kinds of stuff going on underneath the Air Force Base.
Right.
And then they call it Bunker Hill. So, and if you drive down through 31 up there, you'll see hills.
Yeah.
We live in the flattest. We're the only other state that's flatter than us is Kansas. Okay. Especially up here north. You get some hills, you get some rolling hills down where you live, and down near Kentucky and Cincinnati. There's some little rolling hills and whatnot, but up here where I live is flat as hell everywhere. Yeah. So when you drive up towards Bunker Hill and Grissom Air Force Base, then you start seeing all these little artificial hills.
Yeah.
Those are bunkers. Yeah. And there's some shit going on in them bunkers, and I don't know what it is. We have the Kokomo hum that has been talked about worldwide for decades. I myself have heard it, and it is bizarre, and they cannot figure out what's causing it. We had the 2007 Kokomo boom that was went national. 147 people reported this explosion and shocked how it was a big deal, and I was involved in that, not only as a witness but also as an investigator for MUFON afterwards. Even though I was no longer a MUFON investigator, they kind of talked me into coming back specifically for that case because I was also a witness and I was also a good investigator. So I said, okay, I will. But and then Kokomo, we've got our own little Mothman sort of dealia bop up here that has been reported on the north side, and there's just been
Brother, whoa. Let's pump the brakes on that one. Tell me about that one.
well, I don't really know a whole lot about it. I got contacted by a bunch of people that were doing like a little mini documentary on it, and I guess there was reports of back in the day of people seeing this creature that sounds very much like the Mothman in West Virginia with the wings and the big red eyes, jumping down in front of cars and whatnot. I didn't know anything about it until they contacted me, and then I had to do a little Googling on my own to look it up. Yeah. So if you look online, you'll find those reports. You should anyway. Because I found some stuff on there that I had no idea happened in Kokomo. And then there's a bunch of, let me tell you what, the people of Kokomo, they know. I think everybody that lives here has seen something in the sky. I think just about everybody who lives in this town has a UFO story they can tell you. I got one lady who told me about the time she was driving somewhere. She was coming home from work, and it was kind of country-ish, where she was driving. And a UFO swooped down right above her car and followed her all the way into town. And it scared the shit out of her. And she didn't know what to do. Yep. I mean, these people that I've talked to, you're not going to find them posting about it on, Twitter or making videos about it on TikTok. It scared the shit out of them, and they don't want to see it again. And they're very careful about who they talk to about it. But I got to be known as the UFO lady here after. When I worked at the factory, first of all, I had MRIPA stickers all over my car, so I was the ghost lady. And I had people come up to me all the time, wanted to tell me their ghost stories and wanted to know what I did in my spare time and all that other crap. And then eventually some of them found out about the UFO stuff, and then I was the UFO lady. But they didn't make fun of me. They came up to me when nobody else was around and wanted to tell me their stories about their UFO sightings.
Right.
So, I mean, I've heard dozens of UFO sighting stories since I've been here when I worked at the factory, just from people that wanted to come up and share it with me when they found out that that was what I was into. I had a guy come into me one time and he goes, "Do you believe in UFOs?" And I go, "Hell yeah." He's like, "Cool. I want to tell somebody this and I don't know who to tell."
Right.
Okay. I'll listen. Tell me.
I got a story.
Okay, do it.
Oh, no. That's what he's doing.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's got a story. If you don't have a story, you're not paying attention. Either that or you're just lying because you don't want anybody to know. I'm just saying.
And, that happens with paranormal stuff all the time as well. Someone finds out what I do and they're like, "Oh, let me tell you." And here we go. Here comes the stories, which is cool. I don't mind talking about, ghostly things when I'm out running around. Or having conversations online, which is preferable because I really don't like people. Just saying. But, hey, be careful under there. He's getting a little rowdy.
Who, the dog?
Yeah. He went under the desk and was going to lay down and then changed his mind. He starts walking all over me, bumping into me. But yeah. I mean, I get stories all the time from people that you wouldn't really ever imagine, and I hate that it's still a stigma now. Talking about UFOs or talking about the paranormal, and I mean, there's stories that people will never tell.
I guarantee you, for every person out there like me and you that's talking about our stuff, there's probably 50,000 that has stories that are more wild than ours that we'll never tell.
Right.
but
Tell you
it's
what.
better than it was. It's getting better.
Yeah.
It's a lot better than it was 40 years ago. I'll tell you that much.
Right.
But it has a long
And
way to go.
I'll put it out here too. If anybody out there that is watching this video or comes across this video, you watch it all the way through, bless your heart. If you want to tell your story, give me an email at gcable@midwestfairtalkradio.com. We'll bring you on the show. We'll talk about your story if you want to, or, let us know what's happened to you or anything like that. It's a safe place. We're not.
You're reading my mind, because I was just thinking the same exact thing.
I mean, we don't judge.
Mm-mm.
And if you're close enough and you feel like you want to have somebody out to do an investigation, you can set that up too.
When we first started doing the podcast 15 years ago, it was just you and me shooting the shit and talking about paranormal stuff, right? And that was cool. And then when we started it up again here a couple of years ago, when we first started up, we had guests. We had a lot of guests. We had a guest every week for like 3 months solid.
Right.
And that was cool too. But you know what I feel like the most important thing that we can do, and something that we can do that isn't done by hardly anybody else, is that we can be a platform for somebody who wants to just come on and tell their story. Not anybody famous, not anybody researching, not anything like that, but just you guys in the audience. If you've got a story that you want to share that you've never told anybody before, that you really feel compelled, this is the place to do it. Holler at us. Well, and if you want to be anonymous, if you don't want to be seen but just heard, we don't have to video you. We can just record, you can just talk. Right. Greg can even figure out a way to mess up your voice if you want that too.
We can do it.
We can do it,
I'm sure we can figure it out.
Want to put your story out there in the universe and see if anybody else can, relate to it and help you. That's what I feel. I feel like that's what is going to be our good. That's what we're going to be. That's what we're going to do. You know what I mean? I feel that feels like the right thing.
Yeah, I think that would be good for a platform for somebody to get their story out. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we're not saying that, we're Dr. Ruth's or anything. Or
no.
Wait, she was a sex doctor. Who's the other lady? Anyway, we're not psychiatrists. We're not. No. We'll let you tell your story. We'll give you our opinions if you want to.
If you want them, and if you don't want them, just come and tell the story. That's cool too. Right. But
like I said, I think a safe haven for individuals to put their story out there. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, because everybody's doing guests, and there are 80 bajillion podcasts out there that do that. And I feel like this is.
And the thing is, with that, is that there are interviewees that run the circuit, run the gamut. So you have the same individuals on 3, 4, 5 different shows every week. So you're hearing the same people, and that sometimes gets a little dry, I guess is a good word. But yeah, I think that if you have a story, if somebody has a story that they're wanting to put out and just talk about, like I said, you can say whatever you want. We don't judge, and we'll give you that platform to do so. So I think that would be a good idea.
We could. I was just thinking, gee, we'd be like coast to coast and take callers, but then we'd get all the. I'd probably get the perverts or something,
Probably. I'd be like, hi, Deb, this call's for you.
Yeah. Man, I miss Art Bell. He was the bomb. Yeah. Art Bell was the OG. He was the best there ever was. Best.
Yeah, he was.
His shows were off the chain. I can still listen to the old archived ones today.
Oh, hell yeah. There's been some times where I've been doing whatever and pulled up an archive and just chilled, So, but all right, well, check it out, my peeps. We're gonna get up on out of here. But like we were saying, if you have a story that you want to put out and talk about, you can come on the show with us, and we'll give you that platform. All you have to do is shoot an email to gcable@midwestparatalkradio.com or hit up Deb Cobble. Is it Deb Cobble, your full name?
Yeah, debcobble@gmail.com. Yeah, I got my email early in the Gmail Google thing, so I got my actual name, which made it handy. You can also go through my website and message me through there too if you want. I get the messages that come through there. So
debshome.com.
Yep. www. I know. I just said that to make Greg mad because every time I say that, he's like, "Old lady, people don't say that no more."
No one says www.
Yeah, well, I'm old, so there's that.
Wait. Get the beep on that one.
Don't. Okay. I need another.
All right, you guys. So you can check us out on Twitch. You can check us out on YouTube, of course, Facebook. You can come over to Rumble. We're over there as well. You can also go to Podomatic.com. We are on all of the major podcast platforms from iHeartRadio to Spotify, Amazon, Audible. There's another one that I'm missing, and I apologize. Shit, son, that's going to bother me. But anyway, you guys can check us out everywhere. So, and remember, we'll be back next Thursday as well. But also remember, if you want to come on the show and talk about your story, your UFO or paranormal story, you're more than welcome to come on and join us. Shoot us an email, and we will catch you guys and dolls later. Say bye now.
Bye.
All right. Oh, wait a minute. Let's not screw this up because I've been known to do that. All right, you guys. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Have a good one.